Today in Grow a Garden in Roblox, it has been 48 hours since the release of our newest pet in the game. As such, I think it is time I make a tier list for you guys to let you know where values are for these pets online. If this sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit the red subscribe button, become part of the first 300k OGs on the channel, and let's get into the video. Before we start, I have to say that I am only making this video for you guys. For those of you that really enjoy this kind of video. If it was up to me, I wouldn't make these anymore. It's gotten to the point where, how do I word this? Trading in this game exposes a lot of the ugliness in the game. A lot of the greed, a lot of the, I don't know quite how to put it, but regardless, I don't like how this has changed what was once a beautiful gardening game. People have now become so interested and obsessed with the pets in this game and trading them and gaining value, all that kind of stuff, that gardening has kind of fallen off the wayside. It is actually now, after all this time, after all these weeks, after watching the game evolve and change, I believe that adding trading into the game, it was a mistake. And it's too bad. But I still want to give you guys the kinds of videos you want to see. So I will continue to do these once in a while for you to help you guys. Having said that, you're definitely going to see fewer of these on the channel, much fewer. As always, for those of you that don't know, I take values from the internet, real world values, and I take them, I average them out, I separate them into tiers to help guide you guys, for those of you who are interested in moving up these tiers to try and get to more high value pets in the game, such as trying to acquire raccoons, trying to acquire rekitsunes, trying to acquire Titanic meta pets, etc., etc. If you find trades in servers that do not follow this guide, congratulations. You either did really, really good compared to real world values, or you traded really poorly compared to real world values. I'm not telling you what things are worth. I am bringing this information to you from the internet and giving it to you in a simple to understand platform so that you can take this information, do with it as you will. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just letting you know where things lie online. And I'm also going to talk to you about the demand of the pet from what I can understand. Speaking of which, the dragonfly. This is the final week the dragonfly is going to be on the list. The final week. The value of the dragonfly has fallen so far online. It has been hatched so much. There is so much supply. To give you some context, it is nearly 5 dragonflies to a T-Rex. Yeah. Remember when they used to be equal? Now, value-wise, it's almost 5 to a T-Rex. It has fallen that far. It's coming off the list. It's unfortunate. It's an iconic pet in the game, but it is what it is. After that, we have the corrupted kitsune, and the corrupted kitsune is a high E-tier pet, still has lots of trade value in public servers. Even the dragonfly. If you take the dragonfly into public servers, people will still give you some pretty good stuff for it. But its online value has plummeted. The French fry ferret, I'm not sure why I used a French accent there. The French fry ferret is a low C-tier pet. It is a fantastic, useful pet. Again, put Nightmare on it. If you haven't picked up your Headless Horseman yet, try your best to get a Headless Horseman and put Nightmare on these useful pets that have useful effects. They are far more valuable with their Nightmare. They're far more valuable if they're heavy, much like these guys, the seals. Seals are an E-tier pet unless they're over a specific weight, and that specific weight, I have it listed right here, is 1.71 kilograms, even without rainbow. If it's over 1.71 kilograms, it'll probably have more value than this because that is the value or the weight you need to get to the percentage you need to have 8 of them to reach the cap, etc. So over 1.71 kilograms, bit more value. The Mimic! Oh, the Mimic keeps on falling. It is an E-tier pet. The Mimic is worth a corrupted kitsune right now. It's almost dead even in value. For those of you who disagree with me, I am sorry to report, but that is what it is worth online. Because I've mentioned multiple times, lots of Mimics are being hatched as everybody farms the paradise egg with seals and with koi and with brontosauruses on their quest to acquire a Titanic Mimic or a Titanic Peacock or a Titanic Capybara. As such, there's lots of Mimics floating around now, and there's just too many of them online. In public servers, you'll still get really good trades for it, but it's really not worth that much anymore. Pachycephalosaurus is a D-tier pet. It has low demand currently. Until we have an update where crafting is very relevant, it will currently have low demand. As soon as you have an update where crafting is relevant, it will have high demand. So if you want to acquire Pachycephalosauruses, I always stumble over the plural for that. If you want to do so now, before they become far more in demand with an update. The Disco Bee has dropped a good chunk. It is still an A-tier pet, but the value of it has decreased. A lot of the value of the highest pets have decreased, except for the red kitsune. The red kitsune is holding steady in its valuation. Queen bee is a D tier pet. Decent demand. It's an iconic pet, but it's okay. Ascended pets, as always, I always say that this is a B tier concept, a B tier pets, but the demand for these are very, very, very low. Do not trade up and acquire ascended pets hoping to climb the ladder, because trading them away is very hard. Echo frogs are in the D tier. Useful pet, some demand. People like to use them to try and get big fruits over and over and over again. They're very useful. The bald eagle is a top of E tier pet, the best egg hatcher in the game. You definitely want to get your hands on them because they're just phenomenal, especially if you have 13 egg slots on the field. The butterfly continues to maintain some of its value. It's fairly valuable. It is a bottom of B tier pet. The relationship between the French fry ferret and the butterfly for concept, for context, is between 2-to-1 and 3-to-1. The butterfly is also 2-to-1 to the disco bee right now. Brontosauruses have surprising value because the population is so low. They used to be seal food back in the day, and there's just not a lot of them floating around right now. So they're in the C tier, and they might be worth more if you can get them to the following things. If you have ones over 2.25 kilograms at age 1 without rainbow, they're worth more, because that's the number you need to help cap them out. You need 4 of those. Or you need 1.2 kilograms with rainbow to get 4 of them. Or 1.1 kilograms with nightmare and have 4 of them and reach the cap. Basically, you're trying to reach a 30% cap. So if you have a nightmare brontosaurus that hits 10% by itself, that's even more valuable, because then you can only have 3 brontos on the field instead of 4. So look at the bronto you have, see if you can get it upwards of 10% to get 3 on the field. If not, you need 7.5% to use 4 on the field. Lobsters, D tier pet, not a lot of demand. Useful effect, but not a lot of demand. T-Rex, great demand. Popular pet, top of C tier. It is basically worth equal to the Brontosaurus, which is shocking, because you'd be like, why? It's divine pet versus the Bronto. Well, the Brontos are needed for hatching eggs. And the T-Rex is useful for spreading mutations if that's something you're interested in, but you don't need them as much. Again, that's a conversation of pets being more valuable than plants in this game, but that's just kind of where we're at. The tiger is a D-tier pet, has surprising demand because of its ability to put any mutation on the field. It's really cool like that. The fennec fox is a low A-tier pet with a medium to low demand. Fennec foxes are cool, but like, why not just use tigers to spread mutations on your garden? Huges start below a butterfly and go up from there. Now, if you have a huge you bought from a store using barn owls, that's a bit different. They're not usually worth as much depending on the effect. There's so much variation in huges. Koi, useful, low A tier, E tier, E. Unless you have heavy koi. And heavy koi are 1.21 kilograms or higher at age 1, because then you can put rainbow on them to max them, to get them to 6.25%, which is what you need. Or you can go as low as 1.18 kilograms with nightmare to reach the required 6.25% on the effect. So if you have koi over 1.18 kilograms at age 1, get them on nightmare, get them to age 100, and they have lots of value. Blood owls, D-tier pet, casuals like them, good for helping to age up pets. They're rare, they're limited quantity, solid pet. Same thing with the blood kiwi. Useful for hatching eggs, limited quality, but actually no, they're down here, sorry, my bad. Yeah, they're down here because they're just worse than bald eagles and they're less valuable than bald eagles. Phoenix, kind of a popular pet. I think it's one of the coolest looking pets in the game. It's got some of the nicest animations, walking around, moving around, and such like that. People really like it. It has some trade value. Spinosaurus is up here in the B tier. I value it more than the Ascended pet. It is worth slightly more than a butterfly, but the difference is negligible. The difference is basically a pet that's not on this list. The difference is pretty much negligible. Blood hedgehogs, low D tier, low demand. I'm not sure why the queen bee is all the way down here. Queen bee should be up here. I pushed down by accident. The blood hedgehog and the blood owl have kind of low demand right now. Not much need for them at the moment. The raccoon, let's have some fun. The raccoon has continued to fall in value. It is down another few percentage points. Disco bee to raccoon is pretty much exactly 2-to-1 right now, like on the dot. The raccoon to the kitsune. Kitsune is holding more steady. The raccoon is falling more. You need more than 2 raccoons to get to a kitsune, as of the making of this video. The difference between 2 raccoons and a kitsune, the raccoon player needs to add, and they need to add a butterfly or a Spinosaurus. 2 raccoons and a Spino or a butterfly to get to the kitsune. That's pretty much where those numbers lie. Now, the headless horseman still has not plummeted into the dirt. Even though it's been available for 3 weeks, it is so popular and in such demand that even a regular random size Headless Horseman has some value still to this day, which is shocking. It is in the D tier now. It is down here in the D tier at the Tiger range, and that is just for a random size, random mutations, a random Headless Horseman. If you hatched a heavier one with Brontosauruses, for example, I hatched one that's 2.77 kilograms H1 because of the Brontosauruses. You slap Nightmare on that thing, way more interest, way more demand. You can shoot up the value list here with a Headless Horseman like that. So hatching Headless Horsemans with Brontosauruses on the field can give you some value here. And I don't see that value going away because it providing Nightmare to things makes it super useful across the board. Now, the Ghostly Dark Spriggan. I mentioned this before. I'll mention this again. Online, there's just so few of them that the values are through the roof. However, don't value them at that, especially now as you can still acquire it for Robux. Its Robux valuation puts it at the top of A tier. Having said that, in real world trades in the game, I would not value it at A tier. I would value it a little bit less than that if someone's trying to trade away and get rid of it. So that's its valuation straight from its Robux value. You can most likely find it for less value than that in-game. Now moving on to 3 new pets. These are some of the rarer of the 3 new pets. The other pets that were released in this update are a little more common. You can get them easily. So let's talk about the pet that everyone received at the end of that admin event. Everyone received one, so the demand for this right now is nothing. There's no demand in public servers and trades for this, unless somebody missed the event and was like, oh, I missed the event, I want to trade for it. Online, the value of its place is its online listed value, which is going to plummet as these people who are trying to trade them online for these values realize, oh wait, everyone already has one. Nobody wants this. The demand is nothing. They're going to undercut each other. So as of right now, listed online as of the making of this video, this little doggo is a bottom of B tier pet. However, I do not believe that is its value. However, I believe the value will drop online. However, finding a trade for it in public servers among people, it's going to be very difficult to do. Good luck with that. Everyone has one. The demand is super low. Moving on to these 2 pets. Now, these 2 pets are really interesting online. The Lich has a really low supply online as of today. Now, the Lich Crystal has been in the shop multiple times now. I have had people in the Dawn Discord server tell me that they've managed to create 2, 3, 4, 5 Liches in total. So the supply for this is going to shoot up pretty quickly pretty soon. People are listing this for really ridiculous values online, completely out of whack. So the lowest value I can find online is going to be where I'm going to place it. Having said that, in public servers, it is cool. It is a divine. It is hard to create. So you probably might even get decent trades for it online. If you don't, it's because there are enough Lich Crystals floating around now. Its online value, the lowest I could find, puts it in the S tier below the raccoon. Having said that, I do not feel that it is its value. I do not feel you're going to be able to get raccoons or disco bees or fennecs for this pet. If you do, congratulations, you've met the value online. I feel the value online is too high. I feel the supply for this is more than people realize. I feel that finding trades for this online in Discord servers or in public servers is going to be difficult. If I'm wrong, then I'm just wrong, and you find trades and it goes great, congratulations. Expect that value to drop as more and more liches come into the game, as more and more lich crystals come into the game. Now this mummy, this is interesting because unlike the lich, the demand for the mummy is going to be fantastic. It is going to be insane. People are going to want to have 8 of these in order to hatch pets out of chests at heavier weights. It's just going to happen. They're going to want to get their hands on a full set of 8 of these mummy. As saying that, it's good value. I think its value versus the lich is going to be way higher over time. That's my gut feeling. Right this second, the lowest I can find in real world value on the internet, I found it in the top of B tier, more than a Spino, right? That's where it is right now. The thing is, you need 8 of these. And I think because of how relatively difficult it is to acquire chests in this event, I feel like its population is going to be relatively low. And I feel like it's going to have relatively pretty good value compared to something like the Barn Owl, where the Barn Owl, we were able to acquire tons and tons and tons of them. So I think the mummy's going to maintain some value. I don't know where it's going to fall. I don't know where it's going to end up, but that's what my gut is telling me. Hopefully you guys found value in this video. If it was useful to you, go ahead and hit subscribe, become part of the first 300K OGs on the channel. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.